And so that brings us to another great part, which is the question of the university as a place of ideology and as a place that shapes our own, the way that we think in very particular ways. So this is a comic that I found on Truth Social. Yeah. And it's a little striking.
This person looks awesome.
So I just want to take a second and think about who the characters are here. What stories are we getting from this?
I see white suburbia. I see a nice picket fence. And some men who seem surprised and concerned by a person who has tattoos, a pride flag, a pop sign flag, that's the communist symbol, and pronouns on the face and purple hair.
Yeah.
I mean, the person in the chair looks like an aberration. They look like they're changing the status quo. I see it as reflective of a fear of the unknown and like outside things that feel threatening.
So we were thinking at the beginning about the messages that we got about college. How does that compare with the message that this is?
College bad, it makes you weird.
Weird? What else?
Different, it makes you not fit in the suburban neighborhood. You got too based.
It also feels like there's an anti-intellectual current in this comic because it's like, well, you know, your son went to college, you know, like he's a freak. Like, well, you shouldn't support college. You shouldn't be smart. Like there's a likening of intelligence with radicalism.
Well, I think radicalism and also like there's a performance going on here. Like all of these are like symbols that are shown like externally. Like we're not like this person isn't saying anything. Like he has no dialogue. So like having the flags, having the T-shirt, having the pronouns on the mask, like all of these are very, very like superficial representations of all these values that this person's supposedly representing. So there's no actual space like given to, not that we need to give a lot of space to communism, but there's no space given to like the movement for Palestine, LGBTQ rights, you know, masking and like safety. It's just all very, very superficial, and I think that's why it's so easy to look at it and be like, ugh, you know.
I think it also like perfectly exemplifies the culture war, because how is someone having dyed hair and having tattoos and supporting gay pride harmful to these men here in any way? It's not. It's just like we said, like they're different, so that's not okay and right.
Also, I'm willing to bet like the other two men, they probably went to like college too. It's not. It's not college, and it's not college curriculums. Like, they're not saying, like, oh, students are reading too much Marx these days. It's straight up, like, an idea that colleges are these festering hotbeds of leftism, wherein, like, the students who are, like, you know, dyeing their hair blue and using, like, multiple pronouns don't actually know what they're doing and are not coming from an actual place of learnedness. They're just coming from a place of, oh, everyone's doing it on my campus. I'm doing it too. And I think, you know, what we were talking about earlier about, you know, college being a place to find yourself, it's really interesting because I don't think anyone's doubting that, even on the other side of the debate. Like, they go to college too, and they find themselves at the frats and the sororities to, you know, let's pull a little bit of some stereotypes in return, you know, and like beer pong and whatever. And then you find yourself, you know, in a white picket fence house, and that's how you find yourself in college, like, bam. when you find yourself in a different way, that's where the problem is, and that's where the danger is. And I don't know where that comes from. I guess it's just somebody already said it. It's just the fear of the wrong experience, and they're labeling it as a fear of college or a fear of woke universities that are going too far and their curriculums are going too far. But really, it's just it's a fear of I guess liberation in a way. It's a fear of it's a fear of the other.
Yeah.
It's just so much more base and elemental than I think they're making it out to be honest. And this cartoon really shows it.
Let's flip over to the back now. This cartoon is one from Columbia, their newspaper. And I'm interested in what you think about this one. Because if the first cartoon was exemplifying a bit of an anti-intellectual perspective, then this is coming from the opposite side of the ideological perspective. So who are these characters?
I mean, it's kind of doing some fun. I'm just observing. I mean, this just upon a first glance feels anti-working class and anti people who don't have access to higher education.
What about people who don't want higher education?
That's fine. They can exist. I support them in that. And this comment doesn't.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's definitely, I think the misspelling of education is very telling in that. Yeah, they don't believe that.
School Board of Education. I mean, is it, I'm trying to figure out who this man is representing, and there's education happening, but it feels like by pointing out Kansas, which is like this Midwest state that's not known for having any large industries or wealth, it's kind of finger pointing at a certain section of the country that has less intelligent people, or I don't know, and bringing God into it is interesting too.
Well, I mean, the context for this cartoon is it was created in 2005, shortly after the Kansas Board of Education chose to include creationist elements in their science curriculum, as opposed to an evolution-based science curriculum. And so that was a reaction to that choice that the courts had made.
Well, what I don't like, what I don't like about this cartoon is that it makes it out to be like, oh, the Kansas Board of Education did that because they're all stupid and uneducated, and that's actually against God, which is okay, clever little reversal of their argument, wherein God created everything. But at the same time, I don't think the Kansas Board of Education did that because they're stupid. I actually think that they're quite smart in the sense that they know that early education is a way to indoctrinate, not to parrot the other, but it is a sort of indoctrination, right? You are learning very key things at that age, and so the sooner you get those creation myths in there, the more likely it is that everything else is going to fall in place when they get older and when they grow up with these ideas, I mean, and then, we'll have a state that's against abortion and, against gay marriage, it's a very calculated decision. It's not they can spell and they know how to read and they're doing it very intently, and to put it as they're just dumb, it treats them as less, it treats it as less dangerous than it actually is, I think.
And it's not that the people are not intelligent, it's that their intelligence is being navigated in a certain direction, which will later lead to a different ideology.
Do you see this kind of idea of an essential intelligence in our current political discourse, specifically when it comes to how more educated people talk about less educated people formally?
Well, online, on Twitter and TikTok, after the 2024 presidential election, I saw a lot of people joking about the way in which a lot of southern and midwestern states voted in favor of Trump. They were like, oh, when a hurricane comes, don't ask for assistance because that's the way you voted. That sort of stuff. And a lot of people just blame it on stupidity.
Yeah.
What's there? That's what I'm interested in. is this idea of stupidity and where it lives and what it looks like.
I think it's a refusal to see why anyone could actually vote. You know, from the perspective of liberals and the left, it's a refusal to see why anyone could actually vote for the right, which there are reasons, and they must be understood. Like, there is fully a right to understand that. But I think that I just don't think that a lot of, like, those people that are saying, like, oh, you know, I hope the hurricane comes, whatever. I don't think they want to wrap their heads around the facts that, like, people think differently and are thinking in a different way and are willing to make sacrifices for what they view as most important, and sometimes those sacrifices are going to be, like, equal rights. Like, some people just, you know, I guess people vote for what they prioritize, and you have to come to terms with the fact that people are not prioritizing the same things as you, and it's very hard to do that. And it's very frustrating, and so it's a lot easier to just, like, they don't know what they're doing, they're just so stupid and uneducated, unlike me, when in fact it's just we're all educated in different ways.